What is up, guys? In today's video we're going to be spectating random players in zero build trios. I've made a video on duos and solos but never trios, and this is where you really start to get into the game being like a team game mode. Like, sure, duos is a team game mode, but you're only working with one other person, so it's much easier to coordinate. Where I feel like coordination is where a lot of people go wrong in trios and squads, among other things. If you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful and informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more. And comment down below if you have that one player in your squad who just never listens to anybody and goes off and does their own thing. I feel like every squad has one of those players, but that could be really detrimental. So let me know that in the comments below, and I will see you guys in game. And so we'll see how well these players work together, how they could support their squad differently, and we're going to focus a lot on what items they choose to take, because I feel like one of the nice things about having a larger team in the zero build mode is you can kind of spread around some of the more situational items like Rift-to-Goes, Port-a-Fort, etc. So we're gonna let this player kill us. We're gonna try to let them kill us. It is not gonna be looking good for this guy. He can't even kill me when I want him to. Kill me. I want to spectate this guy. Dude, imagine I pickaxe him. No. Oh my god. He was 15 HP. He's one pickaxe away from being killed by the pickaxe. We are just gonna spectate Slade 924. We want to stick on board with him. One of his teammates already died. Not too surprising based on what we've seen from him. He's got 2 shotguns, 2 ARs, and grenade. And Coney Crossroads is just a mess off spawn. He's going to die here 100%. But Coney can be so chaotic off spawn. A lot of it just comes down to getting the kills around you really quickly so you could deal with the third parties better. He ends up knocking that lady and getting the kill, but definitely going to get cleaned up here. By no, that is not the right way. I'm hoping if we spectate him when he dies, we'll spectate the guy who kills him, right? I don't know what's going on. Okay, there we go. Now we're on with Bravo. Both of Bravo's teammates are still alive, all on console. Got the hammer AR, 2-shot shotgun. He's even got the tier 100 pickaxe, so you know he's a grinder. His teammates did not land with him, though. And that would probably be, you know, one of the first big learning points of trios or just any team game mode is land with your teammates. I do not know why this is such a struggle, especially for people that play Phil. They seem to just have a really hard time landing with their teammates. It is best maybe not to land in the same exact house as your teammates, but land in an area where you will be able to help them if they fight somebody. His teammates were so far split from him that he wouldn't have been able to help them, and they wouldn't have been able to help him. One of his teammates shockwaves in and goes down, but the other player is still so far away. He's gonna die here. The other player's just now getting here, but it's a 2v3 at this point. That guy just... Alright, now it's a 2v2 most likely. They need to back up and heal if they can, but they're not gonna get an opportunity to. One player's under the bridge. It is a 1v1 though. He got a knock. His teammate might be able to clutch this, and his teammate didn't clutch it, but it was down to the wire there. This guy was only at 40 HP. They all just shockwaved in and died, and that, you know, kind of goes to show what I was talking about. Like, if they had been closer together already or been more on the same page, maybe they could have done something. But like, the one player shockwaved in when his teammates weren't able to help him. They tried to get to help him, but by then he was already dead, and like the chaos he had created was already like dealt with basically. But they still almost wiped this team. Like, that fight really could have gone either way. It probably just came down to like RNG, shotgun damage, or bloom, or somebody's aim just being a little bit not as good as it could be. Now these players are pretty shambles, I feel like. One thing I don't like about these spectating videos for the team game modes is I try to spectate people's teammates, and it doesn't like put me right on them when I swap like next player. Like, I feel like if you're spectating somebody, you should be able to like swap through their team easily before swapping to different teams across the map. But they have all this loot in Coney now, and one of the nice things about Coney is that it's the center of the map, so you're rarely gonna have to worry about rotation. It is pretty hot, but there's a Star Wars area right here that's pretty much guaranteed shockwaves and chug splashes with how the Star Wars crates work. Talked about that in past videos, as well as a lot of coolers in this middle area here. And then even if zone does go far, like on this side of the map, you could just go to there and then pad, and then you're basically to zone. So Coney is one of my favorite spots for zero builds. For builds, kind of scuffed because of how fast-paced it is. It could be hard to get kills and material, but there's a good amount of loot, and if you want to get kills, Coney is a good spot because a lot of people go there. You can clear it really quickly, and it has good rotations in other places. And there was enough loot for all of them to basically almost die in that fight and still end up with full HP, full shield afterwards. Also, the NPC in this ice cream shop is so overpowered. She sells the blue prime shotgun, which the prime shotgun is pretty good and a lot of people like it. But she also sells shield fish, and shield fish are basically instant big pots. It gives you 50 shield and use it in like 1 second. So if you aren't able to get chug splashes, those are also really good if you're able to spend the gold on it. They're going to rotate out of here with cars, but they're on the struggle, and for some reason they made the NPCs aggro, and they both have cow catchers on their cars, so they're just going to be able to run through anywhere and destroy all the cover. Oh, we got the tires as well. Damn, they got the reinforced cars. That is their strat. That rift to go would be nice. That's really helpful in team game modes. I think they should definitely have somebody pick that up. Unfortunately, I can't easily see what everybody's inventory is, but definitely having somebody pick up that rift to go would be nice. They need to just leave this area. If you trigger the NPCs, you could just leave and they won't shoot at you anymore. Like once you get a decent distance away, you're fine. It's not like they pursue you. So I don't know why they ran over the NPCs, and I don't know why they're still here. Also, that flare gun would have been nice as well. So like I said before, in the team game modes, you can kind of spread around some of the more situational items like porta-forts, rift-to-goes, and the flare gun as well. It's really helpful in trios and squads. It can be hard for some people to kind of keep track of where everybody is in a team fight. And having another player flank or having a different player catch different angles on a fight is really beneficial. But if you have a flare gun and you're able to flare where all the enemy players are going into a fight, it makes that fight so much easier. And then same with the rift-to-go. You can just reposition the entire team quickly. Seems like these people are really playing for the win. They got their upgraded cars, and then they're probably just going to camp this building out. But like I was talking about before with the shield fish, it's an instant big pot, so if you have the gold to spend, they're really, really, really overpowered. Like, it is like one of the best healing items in the game, probably. And you can carry 3 of them. It is pretty expensive to buy every game, but if you're at max gold, like, it'll be a while before that's really like a problem for you. And I feel like a lot of people typically are at max gold. At least I am. This guy is low on gold. He's 790. But I'm pretty much always at like max gold. Like I rarely use it. So I guess these people are just going to camp this out. We're down to 40 players remaining basically. 14 trios. But it seems like they're down to just chill in this building and wait and see what zone does. They're not going to get zone here, so they are going to have to move. But it seems like this team's strategy is just to get a bunch of reinforced cars and then rotate from position to position that way. Based on what they've done so far, it seems like that's what their goal is. Like they've put a lot of emphasis on getting these cars with extra tires and cow catchers. What are they doing? I'm so confused right now. I like looked at the map for a second and then that just happened. Like it seems like these cars are really important to what they want to do, and like these cars can be really annoying, especially in a team game mode. If you have like one player just full send the team with a car, and then that player is creating chaos while the others just lay down supportive fire with ARs, like that could be pretty ridiculous. But every time they get in the cars, it's a struggle. They had like all that awkwardness with the NPCs at Coney, and now they just like rammed each other and blew both cars up. Gonna take the chug splashes. That's really good. Based on them just going to like a random building and sitting in it, I wouldn't be surprised if they go and chill here, but that's a really hot place, so maybe they'll go for this house here. I don't really care for that playstyle, but I feel like a lot of people who really want to win kind of play like that in BRs. Like they just kind of move from house to house and then lock it down and camp in it. But I feel like playing like that, like I've talked about in past videos, you don't really get much experience fighting. And the only fights that you do get are kind of like heavily skewed in your favor timing wise already. So it can be a good way to get easy kills early on. But if you aren't improving over time, everybody else in the Fortnite community is. And if you aren't always improving, you're going to fall behind. And then it's just going to get harder and harder for you to win as time goes on. I feel like that's what a lot of people have experienced. Just being able to adapt and being able to improve are very important skills in Fortnite. But so many players just focus on the short-term wins. And maybe that's what these people are doing. We'll have to see. I think they're going to get out of this blue house and then just camp there. Never mind, he destroyed the blue house. So even if that is something they wanted to do, he just like completely destroyed it with the cow catcher car. So maybe that's not what they're going for. Once again, that rift would be pretty helpful. Boogie bombs are insane, but they might get taken out of the game soon. Tomorrow is the last day of the summer event. So it's possible we could see the boogie bombs, 0 point fish, and all the ice cream cones removed from the game, because those were the main items they added for the summer event. So maybe they'll stay for the remainder of the season. Maybe they'll get removed tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. This gas station is usually pretty heavily trafficked, and if their goal is to just play off cars a lot, then get more cars here. But there's already a team camping outside this area at the porta fort, and they at least this player doesn't have any mobility. I have a whole video about beating portaforts, but I feel like the biggest thing is just mobility. If you're fighting a fight like this, it's pretty heavily skewed in the portafort's favor. But if you're able to mobility onto them and make it more of a 50-50 fight, sure, it's a 50-50, but that's better than the odds being heavily in their favor. Another thing you can do with the portafort is just heavy snipe the ramps and the cones out. A lot of people shoot at the walls, and it takes several shots to destroy the walls, but 1 or 2 heavy shots would really make this portafort unusable. But this Doughboy player isn't shooting out the portafort. Now he is. But it looked like before he was just looking for shots on the people. But with the amount of heavy shots he's already shot, this portafort, they could have destroyed all the cover and made the game much easier for his team. They also could have done that, shooting the cover out with the sniper, along with pushing it with the car, with the cow catcher on it. Would have just rammed through there, no problem. But for some reason, he chose to drive into one of the gas cans. Like, driving has been a real struggle for this team. They're getting tags. I think this team might have been getting third-partied. They shockwave towards the shrine. I don't like fighting at this area. I don't know it. I would take over this portafort if I was them. Never mind, actually. They need to back up here. This fight sucks. Yeah, this guy has the right idea. His entire team needs to back up. He needs to be shooting at this team as his team is backing up. That way they can run away. But if his team fights this, they're going to lose. That team on the mountain has way better positioning. And they already kind of have a flank because they have 2 people on this mountain. They have 1 player here. Teammate threw a portafort, but these people are not on the same page at all. All right, this guy finally backed up. That's good. Now they can chill in their portafort, but most people I feel like are pretty decent at dealing with portaforts now. It's not as much of an advantage as it used to be. They did just get flare gunned, I think. The firework gun doesn't give an indicator that you've been pinged, but one definitely went off near them. And this fight is just so heavily skewed in the other team's favor. Like, sure, this team we're spectating has a portafort, but the other team has them pinged so they know exactly where they are. And they're just sitting in a bush. If this team had a firework gun, though, they could have shot that off, and then it would have marked everybody in that bush, and then the team we're spectating would have been able to easily fry them. If this player picked up that firework gun that was at Coney, this fight would have been really easy for them. Anybody that hides in a bush, if you shoot a firework gun in the sky, it marks them. And the player who's marked doesn't get an indication that they're marked. So a lot of times people in the bushes think they're invisible, and you're just able to get full beams on them really easy. Like, bushes are not good cover. They're just concealment. And if they have the red diamond above them anyways, that concealment is useless. And you're just going to be able to fry them. The team we're spectating has pretty decent positioning in this fight, surprisingly. This player's going to rift. They almost got that kill, though. He could maybe look up and shoot this guy to the sky. They cracked him. They're going to go into the rift and follow him. I do not think that is the play. We'll see. I definitely think they could have shot him out of the sky. And this is like the awkwardness of trying to do that. Now his teammates rifted. He didn't. They should just come down, but they're probably just going to chase that kill. Actually, it sounds like they're just coming down to land on him. So that was a good play, I guess. I would have just tried to shoot the player out of the sky. I rarely just go through rifts to chase people because you're going to be following them into some situation that you have no idea what's going on at. Whereas if you already have them cracked, hitting a few aug bursts on somebody in the sky is really not that difficult, in my opinion. Can be early on, but once you get used to shooting people out of the sky, it definitely gets easier. We're down to top 20. 8 trios remaining. So there's a few duos and solos, potentially. 8 times 3 would be 24. Car just got sniped. Dude, every time they get a car, it gets destroyed immediately. What's this guy doing? You want to get up here if you can. But even then, this top part isn't the best cover. If he could get above the vending machine, I think they're just going to try to go zone. But if he could climb on that building where the vending machine is, they would have 3 tags on this team. But they're kind of pinched right now between 2 teams. I think that team that was initially on the portafort and went to the shrine came back. So you see, like, I feel like ending your fights is really important in every game mode in Fortnite. They ended up fighting that team that was on the portafort that went to shrine. Didn't do anything about it. They fought that other team that was on the hill. They never finished that fight. And then this team pulled up. But they've just kind of been in this area fighting people over and over again. But they've never gotten any of those kills. So they've never gotten loot back. And they've also just never eliminated those people. And those people are able to come back and potentially shoot them in the back after looting the shrine area. There's a team down here. I think it's a duo. He just got sniped. That's over. I feel like this team is definitely dead. This area is just like not a good one to be in. I feel like they waited too long to rotate. And then even when they did, they didn't really go for anything. Like, just being decisive is so important in this game. That portafort, I feel like this guy should go up there. They have these players weak. If his other teammates have mobility, I feel like you go up there, you take that portafort, and then you could potentially kill the people in the portafort, and then also use the portafort to kill the people that are on the edge of the desert. But they're just going to go ahead and shoot it out. But what I was saying is like just being decisive is good. Like if you have I feel like in trios or squads a lot of times people don't know what to do, so they just end up doing nothing. But if you have somebody on your team that can just make decisions, and even if you don't, just making the decision yourself, a full trio doing something that's maybe like a 4 out of 10 play is better than 2 people doing nothing and then 1 player making the 10 out of 10 play. Like as long as you're on the same page and doing something together, it's more likely to work out than just doing nothing. But I feel like a lot of people kind of like freeze up and do nothing because they don't really know what to do. And they kind of overthink it. But just being decisive and doing something is almost always better than doing nothing. And I feel like that's what happened to the team that we were spectating for the longest when they died. They were just kind of doing nothing in that gas station area. I think they get the thirst. That's good because there's no reboots in zone. So just being able to get rid of that player would be nice. You have that team shambles for later on. And if you're at this point in time where you're this team, we're kind of on the edge of zone. They have an easy rotate into zone, but there's other teams fighting. If you're just able to grief those teams down and get them to smaller numbers, that benefits you in the long run. Right now we have nine people, 3 teams. So there's 3 full trios. And you can open this map, and underneath my webcam, it says players and squads. In the parentheses of squads, you can just do that quick math and know how many full teams are left alive, and that could be really beneficial to you. Team's on edge of zone. Nice. Full team dead. 3v3. Final team. They don't know where the team is, but since that team wasn't involved in the fight earlier, I think they're somewhere on the top north side of this zone. He's shooting the bush. Maybe they saw something there, but odds are if they were in that area, they probably already would have been involved in that fight. So I expect that team to be over here somewhere, and they are. They're to the right, see? They just were way too worried about shooting bushes and not like kind of, you know, deductive reasoning, figuring out where people would be. Pretty much always endgame, people are playing to third party. So if it comes down to a 1v1 or your team versus their team at the end, if they weren't involved in previous fights, odds are they're on the complete other side of zone. And that is going to cost this team. Just one player getting knocked right away and one team being able to make that a 2v3 into a 1v3 is just pretty much unplayable. And this Albert guy is buying time, but I'm pretty sure he's going to die. Yeah, he's just doing nothing but buying time. The team that gets good engage is pretty much always going to be the team that wins the fight in zero build, I feel like. Unless you have things like boogie bombs or whatever to like really isolate people, but it's so unplayable, this 1v3. Yeah. So really their mistake just came down to not better predicting where zone was or where the last team was based on like what had been happening previously. And I hope that makes sense. Like I said, people are very eager to third party in Fortnite. So if you just saw a lot of teams fighting or a lot of players fighting in one area, and then that's all done, you've cleaned that up, and there's no sign of the other players, odds are they're on the opposite side of zone, because if they were close by, they would have third partied it. But that is going to be it for this spectating video. Trios and squads is really different, and it gets really chaotic, and just one mistake or one bit of hesitation can really cost your team in the long run. If you guys did enjoy this video or find it helpful and informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more. Comment down below what you thought of this video and what you found helpful, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.